Most CRUD screens do not need React. That is not a hot take, it is a cost claim. I built the same contacts board twice. One lane shipped server rendered HTML with HTMX, the other shipped React. Same screen, same rules, same Go data model. One declared 0 app dependencies, the other declared 7 and shipped roughly 146 kilobytes of client code. Before we talk performance, ask the question that actually matters. What did the user get for that extra machinery? This is not a ban on React. React is excellent when the browser becomes a real application. But forms, tables, filters, validation, and basic CRUD are usually request-response products. If the server already owns the truth, putting a second-state machine in the browser should need a reason. Stay to the end because there is a clear line where React stops being overhead and starts being the right tool. First, the fairness rule. Both versions use the same seeded contacts, the same name and email validation, the same case-insensitive filter, and the same newest first create behavior. No friendly demo where one side quietly gets fewer requirements. If a contact appears, fails validation, or moves to the top of the table, it behaves the same way in both lanes. Only the request path changes. In the HTML first lane, a filter change asks the server for fresh rows and swaps that fragment into the table. In the React lane, the browser asks for JSON, stores it, tracks the request, handles failure, then turns that state back into rows. Neither is magic, but one path creates fewer places for the UI and the data to disagree. The backend is deliberately boring, and that is the point. One Go model serves the HTML lane and the JSON control lane. No second database, no secret cache, no different schema. Keeping that control plane fixed means the comparison is about client ownership, not a disguised backend benchmark. Then I ran it in Podman because a screenshot is not evidence. 5 measured control runs, a 60-second mixed workload, a concurrency burst, container resource samples, and a real browser pass. This is not the kind of benchmark that crowns a winner from one number. It is a test of what changes, what does not, and what the extra client layer actually buys. Start with the HTML first mechanism. The handler receives the query, takes a contact snapshot, renders rows, and returns HTML. The browser swaps those rows into the existing table. There is no client router trying to reconstruct a screen, no cache to invalidate, no duplicated validation state waiting to drift from the server. For conventional CRUD, that small request path is the feature. Now look at the React path. The code is perfectly reasonable. It just has more responsibilities. Contacts, query, loading, saving, error, debounce timing, fetch lifecycle, and refresh after create. Every item is defensible. Together, they are the complexity tax. The question is not whether React code is bad. The question is whether this contact board has earned all of those states. Here's the first data point, and it is intentionally unglamorous. In the 60-second mixed workload, list handled about 633 requests per second. Filter and create were both around 230. Every operation completed with 0 errors. That tells us the shared Go control handled the workload. It does not prove HTMX is faster than React, because both lanes are using the same API. Honest benchmarks say what a number cannot prove. The next chart is the warning label. At 500 concurrent requests, P95 was about 56 milliseconds. At 1,000, it crossed 110. At 2,000, 225. At 5,000, more than 600. At 10,000 simultaneous requests, P95 reached roughly 1.4 seconds. The server did not throw errors, but a user does not experience your error rate. They experience the tail. That is why 0 errors is not a production verdict. This is one in-memory container, not a database, authentication layer, CDN, or 1 million people with different devices and network quality. In the realistic run, memory averaged about 29 megabytes and peaked near 53. CPU averaged more than 1 core. Useful capacity evidence? Yes. A license to promise unlimited scale? Absolutely not. So what did a real browser show? Filtering to Ada took about 353 milliseconds in the HTMX lane and about 404 milliseconds in React. That gap is too small and too environment sensitive to choose a stack by itself. If your argument begins and ends with a 50 millisecond browser trace, you are optimizing for the screenshot instead of the product. The durable number is the client surface. The Go app declares 0 external packages. The React lane declares 7 and delivers about 146 kilobytes of production JavaScript and CSS before the next feature adds anything. That is not automatically a problem. It becomes a problem when every extra state, dependency, and bundle byte exists only to recreate an interface the server could have rendered directly. Here's the decision point most framework debates miss. HTML first is not old school and React is not modern. They are different ownership models. If the server can answer a request and render the next useful screen, HTML first keeps the truth near the request. If the browser must own a long-lived interactive world between requests, React gives you the machinery to do that deliberately. React earns its cost when the interaction is the product. Real-time collaboration, offline first work, optimistic local workflows, rich drag and drop, dense visualizations, or an interface that would feel broken if every meaningful action took a round trip. In those cases, client state is not accidental complexity, it is the product model. That is exactly when I would choose React without apology. For forms, tables, filters, validation, and ordinary CRUD, start HTML first. Make React earn its place with a user experience requirement, not a team habit. The safe default is not never React. It is do not build a front-end application until the screen actually needs to be won. The full repo is live on GitHub. If you want to inspect the code, rerun the experiment, or argue with the numbers yourself. And if you want the next experiment, I will take a real-time offline first workflow and show the point where that verdict flips.